You're listening to Real Crime, the Movie Sleuth podcast.
It's got to be there.
They can see me now. It's not right.
Yes, they can see you.
No.
You are visible to them.
I work in the dark, my friend. I have a face for radio. This isn't okay.
Aw, you're handsome to me.
Yeah.
That's
what all my bitches say.
Oh. So, this is Real Crime. This is episode 102. We have not...
102.
We haven't been here for a while.
No, it's been a bit of a break.
Yeah, there's been...
Kind of needed. It's been a interesting couple weeks.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on.
Thanksgiving is murder.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely murder.
Mine was a disaster.
Was it really?
My oven didn't work. It didn't start working until yesterday.
Ours broke.
No. Yeah, ours broke.
Well, no, the door came off.
Oh, shit.
In the middle of my wife making pies.
I saw the picture of that.
Chris has seen,
ours didn't
the
even
evidence
work.
has been posted online.
My mom started cooking at 7 in the morning, and then we didn't realize that the turkey was still raw until like
A little microphone
11
action
o'clock.
going on here.
Hey.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm short. I'm not used to this.
That's why I'm glad that we just had to make the desserts. We just made pies and then went over to Grandma's house.
Oh, nice.
Grandma!
I was hosting
Over the mountain and
Thanksgiving,
through the woods.
To grandmother's house we go.
There you go.
Grandma's a whore. Anyways.
She is. She
She's
takes
a whore.
in anybody that goes over the mountain and through the woods, if you know what I mean.
Uphill both ways naked.
She's got a pie waiting for him.
That's right. And it's not minced meat.
Oh. We are
It's
terrible
a summer
people here.
sausage log. Maybe
So,
some cheese.
What am I doing here?
I don't know. I don't know what
You know
any
what's
of us
funny
are doing.
is that you actually were the one like, I want to be on the show more.
Yeah.
I do.
like
I
doing
don't know
the show.
why.
And then you get here and you're like, why did I do this?
Why did I sign up for this? I'm the good one. I'm the nice one.
We're
No,
just a pile of pigs.
no, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You just pretend.
Only in public.
Only in public.
I guess you guys would know.
But she bought me good Asian food, so that
I
was
heard.
yummy.
I
heard she fed you fish.
I don't eat fish though.
I do before every Smiths United show.
So, all right, this is episode 102 of Real Crime. We're going to kick off with our sponsors here. Got to mention projectorscreen.com. Woo! Great website. Christmas is coming. They've got awesome deals posted right now, so make sure you visit them online. And then, of course, the wonderful, wonderful Flint Institute of Arts.
Hell yeah.
They actually have some cool stuff going right now. I was just up in Flint Saturday,
Yeah,
and they have billboards everywhere right now.
that place is a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal. It's kind of cool that we actually are sponsored by them.
Yes.
Yay,
I'm-
supporting your local people.
And this month, we're actually going to have a couple memberships to hand out for them.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some giveaways for them for some annual memberships to the FIA, which will get you into all their exhibits. So that's pretty cool. And that's it for our sponsors. That's all. Sellerman's. We don't want to forget Sellerman's.
Holy crap,
you
dude.
scared me. Dude, my heart dropped. I was
I'm
like,
like-
what happened to Sellerman's?
Sorry,
Oh,
Sellerman's.
Sellerman's.
You.
Yeah.
You did that
Sellerman's
on
deserves
purpose.
all of our love.
What a troll.
Now, what's funny is that if you guys remember back about 20 episodes, Chris would always forget somebody and bring them up about 3/4 of the way through. Like, oh, we can't forget to mention projectorscreen.com.
I was doing that on purpose, though. Kind of breaking them up a little bit.
Just like now.
Yeah.
Sure you were.
Troll.
So, in news this week, Evangelion is going to be streaming on Netflix, which was pretty big news for everybody this
Yeah.
week.
And all the weebs are happy.
All the weebs are...
I'm not really weeb, but I'm pretty happy about it.
That'd be pretty cool.
I liked watching the first couple of episodes, and then they kind of got too psychedelic for me.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And the design was kind of... Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Giant robots. What do you, I mean...
But not very well designed giant robots.
No. I don't know. I've never really watched it. I don't know much about
my
it.
Gundams.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then in sad animation news today,
Oh, yeah.
Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, passed away. He was 57. He had ALS. He'd been sick for quite some time, but still, a heart's kind of broken right now.
Yeah.
So little love for Steven Hillenberg.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. And that's, young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
57 years old.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a disease.
Yeah.
I actually met somebody last week whose husband has ALS, and she was like, yeah, we're calling in hospice. This is not going well. So
Yeah.
that disease is
It's brutal.
brutal. Absolutely brutal. In other animation news, we did report earlier that the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is already spawning 2 sequels.
Both based off the female spider characters.
One of them.
Oh, I thought they
There's
both
going to
were.
be a direct sequel to the movie, and then the second one is
okay.
going to be an all-female.
That's good.
Spin-off.
They're going to rock out Silk and,
Yeah.
and Spider
Yeah.
Girl and Spider Gwen, and
Yep.
that'll be great.
So I'm pretty cool with that. And then
Hopefully Spider Woman. That'd be
I would think so.
maybe.
Or
She's
Spider
not really-
Gwen?
she's not. Spider Woman isn't really attached to Spider Man at all.
No.
No.
So interesting news there. And then obviously the news that we reported yesterday about Peter Weller and RoboCop Returns. It looks like he is not going to be in the movie.
Oh, see, I keep hearing that he might not be in.
Yeah, the people yesterday were reporting they had talked to his representatives and they said he's basically out.
Oh.
So we'll see. We'll see. The thing's not even in production yet. So
Yeah, there's plenty of time to woo him.
and if they
Put
offer him enough
a
money,
good script in front of him, and
exactly,
I'm pretty sure.
And a
he'll-
good dollar sign.
yes, yes.
I think with him, the script is more important.
Oh, yeah. But, I don't know if you've ever... Did you watch Longmire at all?
Yeah.
Oh, man. He was so good in that. I absolutely loved Peter Weller in
Did you ever
Longmire.
watch the History Channel specials about building civilizations and all that kind of stuff?
No, with
Peter Weller's the
did he-
host.
oh, really?
and
No.
Because he actually is an associate professor at Syracuse University for
At Syracuse?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No,
That's cool.
He's a big deal in
Yeah.
in the archaeology world.
That's tight.
Yeah, he did that after post RoboCop.
Oh, okay.
He went back to school and got all these degrees. And
Yeah,
stuff.
he's a highly intelligent person.
Yeah.
He is so cool.
And then he was on Sons of Anarchy.
He was.
Yeah. He was
And-
actually pretty good on that, too.
He's good.
He was
and
even
he's
good in the
always
Yeah.
second Star Trek.
Yeah.
He was great. He's
Yeah.
just anything he touches.
And he has that
He's
great
one of those
voice.
guys.
Oh my god, no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that voice. Woo.
And just remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
Yes. In new releases this week, we're really not getting that much. The Possession of Hannah Grace is the only big studio release coming out this week.
Really?
Yeah, I think everybody's steering clear.
Everybody's afraid to drop movies this close to December now
Yeah.
because the big hitters are coming next week and the week after that.
Oh, I
and-
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
gonna-
and we just had Wreck-It Ralph last week,
Yeah.
Creed,
Yeah.
and then what was the other big one that just came out? There's a bunch.
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts,
Fantastic Beasts, yeah.
So it's good to have a little bit of clearance between these big studio blockbusters. So
And there are some big ones still coming.
Yeah.
yes, there are. So suggested viewings for this week. My personal one is a little bit different for me. It was a movie called Cam that's streaming on Netflix right now.
Okay.
It's-
I scrimmed over that.
Yeah, I scrimmed over
I
it.
scrimmed over that.
What the hell is a scrim?
I don't
Explain.
I meant
Define
to say
scrim.
I meant to say skim.
Skim. I
Yeah.
know. But yeah, it's basically a movie about a online cam girl whose
Hey.
identity gets stolen.
Oh.
And they're like literally they've made a clone of her and she's taken her account and is streaming live and taking all her money and her whole persona.
Oh,
so
geez.
It was pretty interesting actually.
Please
so
tell me there's boobies.
Yep. Pretend boobies. So H, what do you got for us this week?
Actually, I'm gonna go a little bit more old school. Not too old school, but I rewatched Game Night with Jason Bateman.
That
and
movie's awesome.
That movie is awesome. That
It
movie
really
is
is.
so good. If it kind of was portrayed, or how do you say? It was the trailers made it look like it was just this like humdrum like rom-com kind of thing, and it is kind of that, but it's way smarter than it looks. It's kind of like Drive, how it was perceived one way, and it's totally a different movie. Dude, there's some sweet music in that movie, and really good editing. The cinematography is gorgeous, and that movie is so well written. I was like,
it's just a ton of fun.
It is. Who's this Mark Perez guy? I was like, and then
I loved it.
Yeah, it was so great, and I did not realize that it was directed by 2 different people.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, 2 different people. I assumed, they had their hands all over it together, but it's still funny. It's not like or it's what the Avengers, the Russo brothers, but I mean, like, these are 2 completely separate people, so I just thought that was interesting.
Siblings
so
are 2 completely separate people too.
Well, I meant like names. They have totally different names.
What?
Normally when people are directing together, they're brothers or sisters or whatever.
They're related.
You know what I mean? These guys are totally
unless
different.
It's Key and Peele.
That's true.
But they might as well be.
Yeah, right?
All right. Dana.
Well, mine's probably pretty predictable, but you guys all have to go and see the new Wreck-It Ralph movie. Ralph Breaks the Internet is fantastic. And I'm going to have to go back to the theater and see it again, actually, because I know I missed about 90% of the Easter eggs that are hidden in that movie.
Ooh. It's
so much fun. I mean, visually, there's so much going on. There's all kinds of, visual metaphors going on. It's funny and it's touching. It's everything that the original Wreck-It Ralph was. And it picks up. It's just fantastic. I can't say enough good things about this movie. I've been talking about it since I saw it.
Yeah, you have.
I just love it.
No, that's awesome. And you've got
great.
Something that you love that much. You got to talk about it.
It's really great.
So.
And the original is one of my favorite movies. And so, I went back and watched it again before I went to see the new one. And yeah, it's quick. It picks right up. And it's been 6 years.
One of my favorite lines in Wreck-It Ralph is I can't remember his name, but he's like the little dude, the little boss dude, and he's like, "You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?" And he takes off his glasses and hits him with the glasses. It's so funny. Oh, all right, sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, it's so funny. I was laughing.
It is
so
funny.
hard.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
No, it's so dumb, but it's just so.
And
funny.
there's a lot of really cool like hidden Disney and Pixar stuff in the background, and yeah, all the Disney princesses appear in the movie.
They do.
Yes, and most of them have their original voice actresses.
For real?
Yes, like Jodie Benson plays Ariel.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so like all of the not all of them because obviously some of them aren't alive, but but all the ones that are around still reprise their roles as the princesses.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's really cool.
It is really cool. It was a neat thing to notice. So there, and of course, there's all, and yes, there is a little brief Stan Lee cameo in the film because
I heard
that.
yeah,
I read your review.
Yeah, because Disney owns Marvel now, obviously, and there's a little bit of a Marvel area in the Disney part of the internet in the movie. And
I was gonna say there has to be. It's the internet.
They also dedicated the movie to his memory.
Aww.
That's sweet.
I got nothing.
I'm gonna cry.
Really?
Nothing. I haven't watched anything in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You've been busy.
Yeah, that's all right.
You've been busy manning that corner.
That's right. That's right.
Watching that pie with
a hoe's got to make her money.
Yeah. The bitch slap is strong with this man.
That's right.
So tonight we're kind of doing something a little bit different. We're not tearing into some super relevant pop culture thing that we always kind of do. We're talking about dark themes in animation.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me to quickly interject here, I've been racking my brain about this pretty much all weeks. I want to, if you could clarify for me, because I'm not an animation person per se, what is a dark theme in animation? Like, because what I was picking up on was like dark moments in animation, but then I was actually like Googling dark theme animation. I was getting all these movies that I've never seen before. One that you've mentioned plenty of times, that Watership Down, and one that
that's dark.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering, because here I'm thinking like I thought like Pinocchio would
Pinocchio's full of dark moments.
Yeah,
okay, so that would be a dark theme.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it can be whatever you think it is.
See,
I really do. I don't think there's one specific thing that defines what a dark theme in animation is. I really think it can run the gamut.
You almost might as well ask what's a dark theme in literature, because in a lot of cases it's the same.
Okay.
'Cause that's kind of where I approached it from, because a lot of the films that I've loved over time that have been animated have come straight from books.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of the animation came from books like Watership Down and The Plague of Dogs and what was the other one? Animal Farm. I don't think I can watch Plague of Dogs, but I was like, maybe
Plague
I could.
Dogs is really
Yeah, well,
that movie
that's
is
about
like
torturing
hardcore.
animals. Yeah, like I was
That
like,
is
I'm not
such a
doing
dark
that.
movie.
Not doing that.
that
No
was
idea what it is.
That was actually my first review for the movie Sleuth. I wrote a piece about the Plague Dogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's one
Oh.
of my favorite movies.
Oh,
which ought to
you
explain
horrible, horrible woman.
Well, Martin Rosen directed
No,
it.
yeah, that's what I was
And
reading up on it, and I was like, man,
It's beautifully animated, but it's horrifying.
yeah, those poor things. I mean, but it's
But it's also based on a book.
right, yeah. So I was curious because the only thing that I could honestly think of was Pinocchio, and then the movies that really got me were like All Dogs Go to Heaven, or Oliver and Company. You know, about the stray cats and.
I think that you're kind of hitting the nail on the head.
I
think, yeah.
wasn't really sure,
it
to
doesn't
be honest
have
with
to
you.
be. It doesn't have to be like one of those weird, obscure
Doesn't have to
European
be like Fritz
stop
the
motion
cat.
things. It doesn't have to
That
be.
was on the
Right.
list too.
Yeah, it
Actually,
doesn't
I've
have
never
to be
seen
like
it.
Ralph Bakshi.
Well,
But-
let me throw a Ralph Bakshi one out here really quick. The 1978 animated version of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that was
that
on there.
hits dark themes and animation right on the head.
Okay.
Yes, it retells that story. It's probably one of the first live iterations of that. Well, not live, but first
Yeah.
movie iterations of Lord of the Rings. And it's way darker than anything they did with the Peter
recently.
Jackson
Yeah,
movies.
okay.
Like, it really goes down that rabbit hole with like Smeagol is freaky as shit. And that is a very, very dark movie that gets
Okay.
to the core really of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think so. I was just because I mean, I was all over the place. I was thinking about like the Mufasa's death in The Lion King, but the whole movie isn't dark. There's just that one spot that to this day I can't watch without bawling my eyes out. I'm a 33-year-old woman, and I'm like, Mufasa.
I'm a 42-year-old guy, and I still cry every time Mufasa does.
I mean, I
so.
can't.
Just
I don't
wait till the
think-
live action version.
I don't
next
think
year.
I'm going to be able to see
Oh,
the.
I know. I mean,
The
I'm
live
totally,
action one's gonna be
I
brutal.
mean, it's.
I'm gonna totally watch it, but
Oh.
I
I'm
watched
bringing-
the
I'm
trailer,
bringing tissue.
and the little baby Simba is so cute, and
I
I'm just
know.
picturing it, and I'm just like, no.
I know. I'm excited to see it though.
And
So
I'm so
am I.
glad Jonathan Taylor Thomas isn't the voice.
Aw, well, you're just stomping all over my tween dreams right there. I love Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
So, Dana, why don't you throw one out at us?
Yeah, please.
All right. Well,
Because you are the highly educated.
it's funny actually, because when we were on the way over here, we were discussing how dark some of Disney's films have been.
Oh yes.
And you mentioned Pinocchio,
Yeah.
and it's funny to me because I don't think of Pinocchio as being that dark, because I think about the book that it's based on, and the book it's based on is just so depressing
Oh,
that the
right.
guy that wrote it had to rewrite the end because it was so depressing that people were like, you can't
Yeah,
end
you
the book
can't.
like this. So he went back in and rewrote the ending, and then Disney took that and made it even lighter and softer.
Yeah, of
and
course.
so, but there are certainly dark themes in Pinocchio. I mean,
Oh
you
my God.
talk about how you can't always trust people, and
Yeah.
and there are people in the world who will take advantage of you, even
then
if you're
Lost Boy
innocent.
Island
And
oh my
God,
gosh.
that's probably the most terrifying scene in the movie for me, is when the kids start turning into
Oh, I
donkeys.
know. What
and
was
they're
his
like,
name? What was it? Jack?
Lampwick. The
Oh
kid
yeah,
that starts,
Lampwick.
and he's like crying
the-
for his mother, and he's
Yeah,
turning into a
and
donkey
donkey at the same time.
and it's just
Oh.
like, oh God,
I
this is
know.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's even worse in the book, because they make it very clear that where the donkeys are going, they're going to be basically worked to death.
Yeah.
And they're just little kids.
Right.
Sounds like my life.
Well, there you go.
Well,
You
you
know.
are a jackass.
Yes,
so.
I am.
But it's funny because I don't necessarily see Pinocchio as a dark film, but like you say, there are lots of dark films in it.
Yeah.
And I think Disney's very good at incorporating dark themes
Yeah.
in their films without necessarily making them into dark films.
I wonder if that's why kind of like Sesame Street, how Sesame Street teaches children certain things, and then we have Disney to teach us the life lessons of whatever, you know what I mean? Like they're really good at, like you said, incorporating what we need to know about.
They're great at death.
Yeah, well,
that
but
too.
I mean, at explaining it in a way that's not horrific, because death is awful.
Have you watched
of course.
Bambi?
Well, of course I've watched Bambi.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord.
The death of Bambi's mom is horrific.
Well, yeah, that's
And
what
you
I'm
don't
saying.
even see it, and that's, I think, worse. Because
That makes
we
it
don't
so much
see it.
harder.
We just see
hear
him,
it.
and we just see him alone,
But
and
okay,
realize, oh God.
How about this? Would you say that the older Disney movies are much more sadistic than the newer ones, or did they just get more clever
With
at
the
being...
exception of the Black Cauldron, yeah.
I never saw the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, the Black Cauldron. The Black Cauldron is unique to me among Disney films because they were going for darker and scarier there.
They wanted it.
Oh,
They
okay.
wanted
They
to make
wanted
a
it to
scary
be-
movie.
And actually, it's interesting you mention it because I've been reading that they're planning a live action Chronicles of Prydain movie that supposedly will cover more of the books. It's based on a series of five books by Lloyd Alexander.
Nothing is sacred.
And, I'm
Nothing.
actually really excited for
Black
that. I hope they
Cauldron
do it
shouldn't
right.
be sacred. That was a giant hunk of shit.
Was it?
I hate that
Okay,
movie.
I like that movie, so you go over there and stay there.
Yeah.
hate that movie. I saw it in the theater when it came out.
I think there are things they could have done a lot better, but I mean, there are pieces of animation in that movie that are just
I'm not saying
phenomenal.
it's not beautiful. I'm not saying it's not well made. I'm just saying it's a terrible movie. The fuzzy little dude is
Gurgi?
is the most obnoxious thing ever put on film. I'd rather watch 6
I'm
hours
sorry,
of Jar
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 Jar?
Binks.
Yeah, no, yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
I'd
no,
rather
Jar
watch
Jar.
6 hours
No.
of
No,
Jar
no,
Jar
no.
over
Oh,
him.
dear God, no.
No,
Mm-mm.
no,
Oh yeah.
No.
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 no,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Jar Jar loves
Don't
you.
tell me no that I don't
I
feel
will.
that way.
I will say that.
You know what? I'm a woman, so I can tell you what to do.
Yeah, no.
I was just trying
You're not
to
my
make it,
woman, so
I
you
was
can't
just
tell
trying
me
to turn
shit.
it around on us, I was just trying to let you know how we feel.
All right, Trevor.
Heavy metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Feeling back she was going to come up again.
Bakshi's going to dominate
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, what's not to say about it? I mean, the whole thing. There's almost no part of that movie that's not dark on some
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
Beautiful animation. Still a little too heavy on the rotoscope for me, but it's still. I love that movie. Just it's so.
It's been a
phenomenally
very
done.
long time since I've seen heavy metal. We should do a movie night here and watch it
Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray.
and
Yeah,
crank it.
Yeah, we need to do like a Bakshi night. That'd be sweet.
Oh,
That
that,
would be
would be
pretty
cool,
cool.
That'd be
actually.
sweet.
That would be great.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be fun, I think.
Trevor's like,
Okay, you can stay home for that one if you.
you don't like us enough. You
You monster, you.
monster.
I-
So,
Honestly, I mean, my issue isn't that I don't like you guys enough.
Oh,
It's
I thought you were talking
that
about heavy metal.
I'm not a huge Ralph Bakshi fan. Technique wise and like visually, like you brought up Lord of the Rings earlier, and the sheer amount of rotoscoping in that movie is just ruins it for me.
What is
it-
rotoscoping? I've heard-
Rotoscoping is
What
when
does
you
it look
when
like?
you shoot live action
Okay.
and then trace it.
Oh, duh. Okay.
And his Lord of the Rings
Yeah,
had
yeah.
so much rotoscoping in it that it was horrifying. When rotoscoping is done well, it's really cool.
Give me an example.
Like 101 Dalmatians had a bunch of rotoscoping in it. When Cruella de Vil is driving through the streets in the
right.
snow.
Yeah.
Every time she'd hit the snowdrifts, and you'd have
Yeah.
that really realistic snow flurry come off the back of the car. or
American
off the
Tail
snowdrifts.
is like that too.
American Tail did it really well.
Rescuers.
But a lot of that Bakshi stuff has that kind of He-Man, Masters of the Universe rotoscoping thing where the rest of the animation doesn't match up to the way that they move whenever they do whenever they're using the rotoscope frames, and it always throws me off, and I find it very distracting.
Oh,
So-
I can see that.
See, I think that's a
understandable.
design choice on Bakshi's part because heavy traffic is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, and it does kind of that thing. But to me, I like it because I think it's done on purpose. It's kind of a.
I'd
it's
also like
supposed
to
to
say
kinda
that
throw
it's
you
a
off.
sign of the times too. You know, like when that.
It's kind of the way they did things.
Yeah,
then.
that era of animation.
It was new, and
you
it
know?
was it was available, and they wanted to check out what they could do with it.
Yeah.
And I think that Bakshi's just really different when it comes to style, animation style. A lot of his films, I mean, we could do a whole show on just how Bakshi's different from everybody else.
And we should do that.
Yeah, I was
should
just say
do
you
that.
should do that.
I need to watch more of his stuff though.
We could
before we do
ask
that.
him to tune in. I bet he
Oh
would.
yeah,
He's our buddy
What?
now.
yeah. He loves us.
He does love us.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
he did until he hears this podcast.
Oh,
And me.
I still
talking
love you,
smack.
Ralph.
honestly, I
I
take him.
like his movies. I just don't. I find those sections or that aspect of them just withdraws me from the movie completely.
I think from the conversation we had with him a couple years ago, I think if he heard you say that, he wouldn't agree with you, but from the way he talked to us, he would respect your opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
he would.
He's not that like, oh, fuck that guy. You know?
Yeah.
Like he's the kind of guy that
Yeah, he was really cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
what pisses me off is that without that, if Lord of the Rings would have been stuck a little bit more traditional, that would have been the definitive Lord of the Rings movie, even now.
I don't even like Lord of the Rings. So.
I don't either, so I'm out of this conversation.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother does too. My mom
A
does
lot of people
too.
do.
Yeah.
Sweet. Then your brother's pretty cool by my standards.
He's all right.
That's
My
a pretty
brother's
low
pretty cool.
bar.
Thank you.
It's
That's
a
what I
pretty
was-
low bar.
The way he feels about the Lord of the Rings is the way I feel about like Harry Potter. He
Yeah.
loves Lord of the Rings. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I like Lord of the Rings a lot.
But you like Harry Potter better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
either one of them, so I'm just gonna say.
All right. So what's the next one we want to touch on?
well, I wanted to I guess Dana, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about so your number one animated film was Watership Down, right?
That's one of them.
Okay.
I don't know that I have one definitive favorite animated film. Maybe Shinbone Alley.
Shinbone Alley?
Yeah.
Where's that from? I know you like the old
yeah,
animation.
it's from the early 70s.
Oh, okay.
It's based on a musical that's based on a book, or
Oh.
well, several books.
All right. Shinbone Alley.
Yeah, it's about a cockroach.
Oh, I do remember you telling me that. Yeah. Okay.
My life story.
Well, I wanted to ask mostly because I feel like you're the one that watches the most animation, and I'm fairly new to the animation thing. Like I watch, I've seen every Disney movie, and but I'm not particular about watching animation for some reason, and I'm not sure exactly why. I'm actually kind of perplexed by why I don't watch it as much as, say, like a live action movie. But I wanted to ask you how you felt. I know you're not super into anime, but it is animation, and from what I've seen, I would personally think that maybe because of the literature, because they come off of the mangas or whatever, but I think anime is more dark than, say, the Western animation.
I think in a lot of ways that's probably true, because anime is, I mean, the Japanese tend to see animation differently. I mean, we were talking about this too, about how a lot of American...
Oh, no,
What?
nothing.
How dare you?
How dare you laugh at me?
I know.
As soon as you said that, we got like all these little angry emoticons going up. Yeah.
All right, you know
Are you
what?
serious?
I will say this. Here in America, we tend to look at animation as kids and family stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
over there, they tend to look at it more as an art form, which I think we should do more
Sure.
of that.
Agreed.
And, the only reason I'm really not into anime is I just don't like the tropes very much. And
Oh.
I'm just not interested in it. It's just not my style of animation. I definitely agree that anime is art. And, and I would say, well, obviously it counts. It's animation, like you said.
Yeah.
It's just not where my where my taste lies.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
and a lot of people love it. I get why. You know, I just don't. I just never really have. I mean, when I was a little kid, there was a lot of anime on TV, and I used to watch it. You know, the old Saban shows. You know, like the Little Prince and you know stuff like that. And I, you know, maybe it's not real anime or whatever, but
Star Blazers.
that was really the only stuff I ever got into in my whole life. And when I got to be an adult, I just kind of drifted away from that, and I prefer the older, you know, the European stuff, the Western
Yeah.
take on animation and style. And that's actually one of the things that bothers me about modern television animation is that so much Western animation on TV wants to be anime.
Yeah,
and
it
it doesn't
does.
work that
Yeah,
way.
it doesn't work.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, why is that, man? I like.
Because it's popular.
There's no, like,
Yeah.
maybe just popularity, but it looks terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think
it's
I have
very
my-
limited.
I have
and
my
it
own
just-
theory, and it's usually offends all the weebs. So I
why there's
More angry reacts.
why there's American anime.
know why American television animation has switched over to that more anime style.
Oh,
It's cheap. There's no
It's easier to-
there's
It's easier
almost
to do.
no in betweening. It's easier to. There's less lines on the faces.
yeah.
Everything is super simplified down to its core, so there's less to draw.
Yeah, but I don't think that's offensive.
And they do a lot of the freeze frame stuff.
Yeah.
Where
They do a lot of the
zoom.
freeze
Yeah.
frame
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
They do a lot of the people running where all you see is their shoulders and a line of bushes in front blocking their legs
Or the
and
like
a moving
repeat
background.
scenes, like
Well, yeah. I
I
mean-
just finished watching that the new She-Ra Princesses of Power show on Netflix, and that's drawn like that. And like every time she transforms, it's like it looks like Sailor Moon, and I'm just like, what?
That's
What?
honestly that
Why?
show looked like garbage.
It
But the
kinda
thing is
We are such
the
nice
thing is
people.
I know.
that's been an American thing too, though.
Yeah, yeah.
The reusing frames.
Of course.
The
oh yeah,
reusing
they
clips.
lampshaded on The Simpsons a lot.
They do. But I mean, it was very important to do it for kids' cartoons, especially 70s and 80s, because it made it so that they could keep costs nice and low and still have good quality animation. I mean, He-Man was notorious for it. Where He-Man, apparently, they had a book of scenes that were already animated, that they'd already done for previous episodes, and you'd get a bonus if you were a script writer for He-Man. You'd get a bonus if you could write a script that almost used those entirely.
That's hilarious.
Where they wouldn't have, whoever got the
Right.
fewest new frames of animation would get a bonus.
Less work.
Yeah.
It's a lot less work, no money.
Yeah.
Zero money spent. All you have to do is grab the already animated stuff, splice
Yeah.
it together, and you're done.
Well, I see that I think maybe where I can defend the weeaboos there is that, like she was saying, anime is art, and so then Japanese people they're minimalist, so like I can see where that comes in to play, having less lines and being more scaling and detailing is different, say, than in the cartoons that we have now over here, where everything is so edited fast and it looks all blotchy and just
I don't know.
put
I mean,
together.
Adventure Time is
That's
it's
different
an American
though.
anime. That's American animation.
Yeah, that's different, but it's very detailed
spectacularly
too.
done.
Yeah, it's really detailed, and the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack reminds me of Ren and Stimpy, where they had they had the
You're going
close
for the
up.
new shit. I'm sitting there going.
Oh, the Misadventures of Flapjack
I
are
haven't
from
watched-
like the end, like 2000s, I think, maybe like
Yeah,
early
yeah.
2000s.
I stopped watching,
1999.
New cartoons about 1994.
Oh well, it's actually what's his name? Bill Murray's brother. What's his name?
Which one? Doyle?
Yes.
Brian Doyle Murphy?
Yeah, the older one. Yeah, he's the voice of Captain Knuckles,
That's spectacular.
and it's really funny actually. If I don't, have you ever actually watched that? The Misadventures?
I've seen a few episodes. Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
That's
it
like
is-
Adventure Time. It's really dark. There's some like really
very-
nasty shit in it.
The freaking kids that I went to school with when I was going to film school and for animation and stuff, they would just hover around the break room watching all that bubblegum and
Bubblegum.
wasn't that what it was called? I know
Bubblegum Crisis.
No. It was Flapjack and then the regular show. Is that it?
Regular
oh.
show.
I love regular show.
Regular show is pretty
They'd
funny
watch
too.
all that. I'd get stuck in there watching that, all of it, and none of it was funny.
Oh man.
Not even slightly.
I'm sad for you.
I know. There's some really there's
so
some really
sad for
funny
you.
dumb stuff in that
That's
show.
exactly
It was
it.
dumb.
That's exactly it. You have to just kind of let go of your intellect for a while and just be like, okay,
No.
this is so stupid and it's so
Well, see,
funny.
like
No.
you had to do that with Ren and Stimpy, and Ren and Stimpy was a hit.
Ren and Stimpy. We need
Ren
to
and
get.
Stimpy was actually deep as shit.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Misadventures of Flapjack and regular show.
But
and
Ren and
Adventure Time.
Stimpy, honestly, was a very dark themed show.
Yeah,
too. I mean,
it
it was
was.
hilarious, but some of the shit that was going on it fits in this
The
category.
time eradicator button.
Dude, even the shit with the rubber nipples. I mean,
Oh,
come
right.
on.
that,
yeah.
Oh my god, that
Powdered
episode.
toast, man.
Hello, sir. Would you like to buy some shiny new rubber nipples? Oh, I don't know. Honey.
Honey, do we need any rubber nipples?
No, honey. Don't come buy any new rubber nipples before you use the one you already have.
Another really good dark anime is Akira.
Yeah.
Akira is pretty dark.
That's dark and depressing and
Yeah.
Dark is an understatement.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very dystopian,
Yeah.
dark future.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautifully animated.
Oh my god.
Beautifully animated.
So I'm gonna throw one out there that I know me and Dana both love. The Iron Giant.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. But is that really dark?
Oh yes,
Oh,
it
yes,
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay, explain to me how it's dark, because I see that movie as like a very heartwarming.
It is
Most of it-
heartwarming.
The
Most of
story
it
itself
is.
is.
Oh, okay,
but
see, then I
the
don't.
overall theme and the loneliness and the separation and the pursuit and yeah, it's dark.
Well, and the whole thing is centered around war.
Okay,
You know,
sure, yeah.
and
Paranoia.
paranoia of what we don't know, and this giant robot is here, and the only thought is
Destroy
it.
Yeah.
Destroy it. Destroy him.
Don't try to understand it. Don't try to see why it's
Yup.
here or where it came from. Just blow it up.
I adore that movie.
Yeah.
That
Why?
is in my top 10 of all time.
It is one of my
hands
favorite
down.
films too.
You know,
Animated?
no, in my top 10 movies of all time.
Oh, it's probably in my top 100.
I've watched this movie so many times. My kids love it too.
I've seen it 3 times.
Yeah, but it is very thematically dark.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, and Vin Diesel was spectacular.
Oh yes.
It was his best acting ever.
No. Here's a funny thing for you. You know that Steven Spielberg actually said that Vin Diesel's the single most talented actor he's ever worked with?
Really?
Really. When they did Saving Private Ryan,
Yeah.
he said that he would cast, if Vin was interested in the role, he would cast him in almost any part in any movie he ever made.
That's insane.
I don't think so.
It's that he's typecast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because he's really good in the stuff that's against type.
Yeah.
I can't remember the movie he made where he directed it, and it's actually him with a full head of hair and a beard.
Oh, the courtroom movie.
Yes,
I can't remember what the name of it
and
is
he
right now.
was so good.
Yeah, that was actually a decent movie.
He was so
Yeah.
good in it. Yeah, no, nobody gives him enough credit. It always bugs the shit out of me.
All right, I'm going to refer back to Dana and let her throw one out there again.
Okay, I'm gonna say one that might surprise you and it might not. The Brave Little Toaster.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned it.
That movie was one of the darkest movies I've ever seen.
It really is.
And I came
I haven't
across.
seen it. It's so very long.
I came across somebody made a live action version of the Worthless song,
Oh my
and
god.
it takes on a totally different, it's just like whoa.
Really? I want to see this.
I
wanna
honestly
see
think
it.
I've
see
never
this.
seen it.
It's a precursor to Pixar, Hyperion. a lot of the people that worked on that movie ended up going
I
on
remember
to
it coming out, and I
Pixar.
remember trailers for it and all that stuff. And
Don't bother with
never got
the
around to it.
sequels, but see the original one.
Yeah.
It's so
And that's
there
an
are
older
so
movie. That was
many.
in like the early 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid 80s, I think. I think it was 85.
Mid or late.
It was 85, I think. It might have been earlier.
I remember being a kid seeing that movie and being like, I don't get it. Like, I just don't understand.
There's so much
because I was just
depressing
too,
stuff.
yeah,
in that
I was
movie.
just too young and I didn't understand.
And way before Toy Story, it even started making me think, oh my God, are all the inanimate objects in my house alive?
Oh yeah, that too.
Like, oh my God, does my blanket miss me? Like when I'm at work, does my blanket wish I was still there?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
And I actually a while back wrote a piece. I never published it anywhere because I'm actually kind of embarrassed of it. But I wrote a piece about how it's almost like when the appliances go out in search of the master, it's almost like pilgrimage toward God. Like the master is their godhead, and they're like looking for it everywhere, and they never quite find it. They always just miss it. And then there's all this other stuff piled in there, and it's just. I mean, there's the scene in the shop where the guy takes apart the blender, and it's just horrifying because you're looking at it from their point of view.
Right? Yeah. And he's just like, "Oh my God!"
Like they just took his motor out. Like, whoa.
That was on that list that I was looking at when I was trying to.
The Brave Little Toaster was?
Yeah, to decide, decipher what really dark themed an animation meant, but that's a good choice. I forgot all about the movie until I read the list. I was like, oh man, Brave Little Toaster.
There's a lot of these. Like I was digging through stuff and there's a lot. Like this is a consistent thing with animation.
Oh, my next one is gonna.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is it?
Transformers the movie.
Oh,
yes.
I was wondering if I should mention that.
That movie changed so many people's perspective on death. First time a lot of us saw a character die.
A main character.
Yeah. I mean, they got hate mail from parents.
Really? Oh, yeah,
for
because
a
of
long
Optimus's
time.
death.
Yeah.
Don't worry, kiddies, he comes back.
Well, kind of. And really badly animated in a horrible continuation of the series. But, no, I mean, the movie is beautifully animated.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell that they put the money into it. One of Orson Welles' last performances of his career. In fact, his voice was so gone while he was doing it that they actually had to get another voice actor to come in to read all the lines, and then had to merge the voices so you could actually understand what he was saying.
Jesus.
I mean, the cast in it is a little insane.
Oh, I know.
It's a list of people that you're like, Judd
What
Nelson,
are they?
Yeah,
Leonard
really?
Nimoy,
Yeah.
like John Machida. Really? Nobody here knows who John Machida is, do they?
I do.
You do? Yay!
Yeah, he was the Micro Machines guy.
He was the Micro Machines guy.
Oh, that's right.
World's
Yeah,
fastest
yeah, the
talker.
world's
Talk really
fastest
quick.
talker. That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, it's about war. It's about death. It's about,
preservation of life.
galactic destruction. Yeah. Like, it was a dark freaking movie for something based off of a toy line that should have been a throwaway. And here, almost 40 years later?
Yeah.
It's still relevant and still talked about and still being re-released in theaters and yeah.
Yeah, that Blu-ray is fucking crisp.
Oh, the Shout Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. I have the steel book of that. It's beautiful.
That is crisp.
I have a Japanese or Chinese import of the original series too.
Ooh.
And they went through and did the same kind of scrubbing to it that
really?
they did for the movie, and it's spectacular.
Oh, I'd like to see that actually.
In the soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack is
you can't
incredible.
go wrong with the soundtrack.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, Weird Al Yankovic.
I totally forgot that's where that's from.
Dare to Be Stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
had that stuck in my head the
Dare
other
to
day
be
when I woke up,
stupid.
and I was like,
Dare
why
to
am
be
I singing this?
Put your head in a microwave and give yourself a tan. I mean, The Touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was obviously performed by
Me.
Mark Wahlberg and John C. Reilly and Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
I'm like watching that scene going like, where have I heard this before? Oh shit.
Oh shit!
No way.
Transformers.
Yeah.
With the White Lion, I believe, did the theme song for the movie. Transformers! Oh, yeah. I mean, there's some horrible stuff going on in there, but there's some really good stuff going on in that movie. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw one out there that a lot of people really hate this movie, but I actually enjoy it to this day. But this one definitely fits into this, is 9.
Oh,
I love 9.
So like this movie gets people fucking hate
Really?
this movie.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't hate it. I'm completely indifferent.
Yeah,
I was so bored.
I loved it. I thought it was really cute.
I think it had like that repetitious like Armageddon trope kind of thing going on in there, but I loved the animation in the movie.
Oh, it was beautifully done.
And I loved like the main character and some of the teamwork that goes on in it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that resounding feeling of death that's like over the entire
Entire
movie is like morbid is shit. But who directed this one?
Oh man,
I don't remember who directed the
I know,
full length.
but-
I know Shane Acker did the original short,
wasn't Tim Burton a
but
producer?
I think Shane Acker also worked on.
I think he was.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Where's
It
Sean?
was.
Sean worked
yeah,
on
it
this
was
movie.
Burton produced.
Yeah, I was
Or
gonna say.
Burton released or
I'm
whatever.
pretty sure that it was. Well, I'm missing the word, man. It was commercialized as a Tim Burton movie, but he just produced it.
Well, everything...
Well, I
anything
mean,
that he touches is...
Well,
is
they were
Tim
throwing
Burton
his-
They
movie.
capitalized.
Well,
on
yeah,
that.
they were throwing
Same
his
thing with
name everywhere,
Tarantino.
you know.
A Tarantino
That's the
joint.
truth.
It's been
like,
a long
really?
time since I've seen 9.
That's
Yeah, it's been
Robert
a while
Rodriguez
since I've seen
directed
it,
it.
too.
How dare you?
I've got the Blu-ray. I actually need to rewatch it. It's been a few years since
It's on
I've seen
Netflix
this
right
one.
now too, actually.
Is it?
I have it sitting on my shelf. I watched it. My wife loves it. I just thought it was kind of mediocre.
I went and saw it in the theater with Jesse before we were dating.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was directed by Shane Acker.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the cast for 9: Elijah Wood, Jennifer Connelly, Crispin Glover.
Jennifer
Martin
Connelly
Landau.
is my number one crush in Hollywood, by the way.
I will agree with you on that.
Her and Kat Dennings.
Oh God, I hate her.
But have you looked at her?
Oh
Something
yeah, yeah, and I hate her.
about Jennifer Connelly in Requiem for a Dream. She's so beautiful, but so broken. Something, every time I watch that movie, I'm like, I just want to hug you and I want to fix you.
Yeah, have you seen
and
her
I
in The
want to take
Rocketeer?
this lotion.
Yes. Have you seen her in Career Opportunities?
Yes. Have
Okay.
you seen her on
Oh
Hot?
my God.
Yeah. Okay. We better
Yeah.
stop.
Knock it off.
Yeah,
Because
'cause-
we're gonna make Rachel mad at us.
I call her Mrs. Eyebrows
Yeah.
from like.
Is
remember?
she listening?
I don't know. No, not right now. But maybe she will later.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She can slap me around later. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
All right. So who's got another one here?
Another one that I was.
Spit it out, woman.
Another one that I was thinking about was Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
And I like how pretty much everything that I've mentioned is like is a Disney flick.
It's but the old
That's
school
what
classic
Disney-
Disney
Yeah,
were
but-
dark.
That's what
wrong with
Disney
that?
does.
That she and I were talking about that in the car.
I'm wondering
Is
if,
that a lot of
like-
people discount them because they're Disney?
No,
but then
man.
you watch it and the content is not.
Yeah, even like Little Mermaid. But I digress. Sleeping Beauty is probably my favorite Disney movie.
Mine too.
I love Sleeping Beauty. I can't even listen to it without crying. I just love that movie so
The
much.
music is spectacular. I love
And you
that
know,
movie.
it's
And I love the animation in Sleeping Beauty. It's gorgeous.
interesting,
It's
too.
got this like glow, you know.
It's interesting too that Sleeping Beauty, when it was released, was a total flop.
Oh, that's so
It
sad.
failed in
That
the theaters.
sucks.
What was really cool, there's a cartoon history museum in San Francisco, and they managed to get most of the original backgrounds for the movie, the original paintings.
Yeah.
If you walk through the
And-
Sleeping Beauty
oh
thing in
my God.
the Sleeping Beauty Castle in Disneyland,
Yeah.
there's the murals there were done by Avon Earl,
Yep.
and they're fantastic.
They're beautiful.
Are you sure it's Disneyland or
but
Disney
seeing
World?
the original paintings that were the
Yeah, I can
original
well
backgrounds
imagine.
was just spectacular. But what's weird is that then you turn around and there's original Beetle Bailey art, and you're like, oh, really?
Yeah, Sleeping Beauty. I remember being a kid watching it and I was obsessed with it. But I remember feeling, for a majority of the movie, really sad and just like, I was anticipating the prince to kissing her and waking her up, and the same thing with Snow White.
What I love about that movie is the majority of it is creeping terror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That the bad things coming, and here she is, happy, singing, falling in love,
and then
she's is that she's going to prick her finger on this needle, and the world is gonna frickin' end.
Yep.
And you're watching it, and the fact that what's going to happen to her makes it more disturbing to hear, I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. Like, half the songs are about sleeping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so it's all like this build up to the moment, and it's really disturbingly done.
The actual scene of her following the light and then the green and the way that movie looks
the color
is just
the color palette.
The color palette for that movie is spectacular, especially since it's 3 different movies. Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Color palette wise, there's the beginning,
which is
with
all
the
bright
royal palace. So it's primary colors. It's very nailed down, and then there's the middle section of her living in the forest, and it's more earth tones, natural colors, greens, browns, reds. Except for then the prince shows up, and he is returned to primary colors. But the rest of her world stays the same color, and he leaves, and then it goes green. And then it goes black, and green and purple. Basically, turns into the Joker.
She's one of my favorite villains too.
Maleficent is my favorite Disney villain, bar none. Scar's pretty cool too.
What's that?
Scar's pretty cool too.
Scar's a bitch.
Well, Scar is a bitch, but
Uncle Scar, you're so weird. You have no idea.
Oh, I love Jeremy Irons. I want to marry him.
Zazu is my favorite part of Lion King, by the way. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. I love that it's Rowan Atkinson too.
Yeah,
I know, right? Yeah.
Me too.
Adds so much.
Who's next?
I believe. Actually, when her.
Yeah, I know. We're just kind of.
I'll go.
Just talk about whatever.
Snow White.
Yeah, Snow White's another one. Very Sleeping Beauty.
A movie about a homicidal stepmom. I mean, seriously, it's Stepfather.
Yeah,
the horror movie Stepfather, except for a fairy tale and Disney.
Yeah,
and it's disturbing.
It is.
It's
a lot of it is disturbing from beginning to end. Even when she's
the
with
happy
the cottage,
stuff is sad. Yeah, I mean, it's an entire movie about being either obsessed with your work, killing your kids, or killing your spouse.
Oh, well, and being completely envious and then trying to kill a kid.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about the envy part.
Complete envy.
Yeah, I mean, it is the most disturbing story. The actual original story is much more disturbing.
Of course it is.
The book is one thing, but you still have to take the movie on its own credits, and it to this day it's still uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
it's not date rape.
Oh no,
but kissing Sleeping Beauty, but it's still off-putting.
Oh, actually, I think that was one of my first questions about those movies. I was like, "Wait, she's sleeping. Is that okay?" Like,
no,
I can't believe they put that in movies.
Do not kiss sleeping women.
Yeah.
If you don't know them.
It's just
weird.
creepy and rapey.
Even if you know them.
It really is.
Even if you know them.
You probably shouldn't.
It is creepy.
And Kevin Spacey.
Even if you know them. Well, it depends. Like if I'm kissing my wife good morning.
Well, yeah, okay. Jesse does that too. If I'm still
sleeping.
That's
not creepy and rapey.
Yeah, he was like, all right, I'm going to work.
At least I don't think it is.
No, I mean, that's okay.
I mean, my wife could wake up in a sweat, terrorized by it, but I don't know. She doesn't tell me.
I've never done that. Never.
Oh, I have.
Never.
Yeah.
Woken
Although
up
it's
in a
usually
sweaty-
forehead. It's usually a forehead kiss.
Yeah,
so.
I've done that. But something about kissing somebody on the lips while they're asleep,
It's
just
too
like
much. It's too much like a cat.
it's like
Like
foreplay.
a cat sitting on your chest, like staring. Haven't you? You've
Oh,
woken up to
yes.
that.
Of
Yes.
course.
It's the same concept to me.
Oh, they're my babies.
Yeah, that's because they're trying to steal your breath.
No.
Cats are
Not
evil.
my son.
Cats are evil.
I don't know.
They are
I always
not.
get the other end from my kids.
Oh, I used to get that one too.
The eye of Sauron right in my face.
Wake up and you're like, oh, oh, you have
eye
pretty
of
eyes,
Sauron.
but not the brown one.
Oh,
Oh.
thank you, kitty pooper.
My cat is the worst offender.
You got something, I know. Besides the
I've-
clap.
Yeah, from the weird rapey
Weird rapey
sleep
friend.
kiss
kiss.
on the mouth. Wake up, sleeping beauty,
It was
wake up.
probably from the
What
brown
the
eye.
fuck are you doing? I'm trying to sleep.
I'm your biggest fan.
I got a couple. I would actually, I'm going to go with Disney again.
It's
Up.
easy. It's an easy.
Up. I
Up.
mean, most of the movie is very happy.
I would say 99%
But that
of it
first
is.
20 minutes.
I swear, we've talked about this before. It was Christmas Day. None of us had ever seen Up. I bought that, Disney special edition Blu-ray,
yeah,
the big
yeah.
pack, and we're all getting ready. Hey, we're gonna watch a movie together, and we put on
Hey,
Up.
all of your.
We put on Up,
She's
and my
dead.
mom is like poking me in the back. What the hell did you put on? And I'm
What
like,
are you thinking?
I didn't know. I didn't know
the
that
first
this
10
was.
minutes of this movie.
Yeah, the first
Tear
10
your
minutes.
heart out.
Yeah, that's pretty. That right to the core of being dark. Now, after that,
It's the one.
Yeah.
It's the sweetest movie ever.
yeah, squirrel.
I
Dude,
mean, it is
Doug
not,
the dog is one of the greatest characters ever put on anything.
It's not just in the first 10 minutes. I'm going to go back to that because that's really the dark part. It wasn't just the death that made it so awful. It was all the implications that she couldn't have a baby and
Yeah.
they wanted one.
Yep.
And they spent every day together. And then all of a sudden she started to go downhill and
Yep.
he had to watch that. And it was just
It's
every time I
everybody's
watch
fear.
it. And yeah, and it's it's
not
just
mine.
all these little moments
It
and
will
there was
be.
not a single word of dialogue in that whole thing.
Yeah.
And it just
They didn't need it.
they didn't need it.
No.
It was just enough to
It
watch
was
them
so perfectly done.
go through
Yeah.
that's those stages of their lives. And
That's
it was just
This
amazing.
sounds horrible and depressing. I think that might be the most magical 10 minutes of animation I've ever seen. Is that first 10 minutes.
It is certainly
Because
the one.
it's the best storytelling I've ever seen.
Well, and it just rips right into the whole human condition thing. It's what we all
It
fear.
does.
I mean,
Being
every
alone,
single person
dying
in the
alone.
theater's
Yeah.
Everybody's
You know,
sobbing.
and yeah,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
all looking at each other like, oh my god.
And
here
then
goes
Russell
Pixar making us cry again.
shows up, and you're like,
and then oh,
oh, thank God. I get
okay, yeah, Russell
yeah.
and the dog, and then
Escape route. We got this kid now.
Yeah, thank you for the Ewok.
Yeah, but that's even sad too because his parents are never around and
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's a
Neglected and-
pretty tragic character too.
It's fucking Disney.
But
Yeah.
then at the end, the fact that they become that for each other is just the coolest fucking thing ever.
and so was Doug. He was a misfit among all the other
Yep.
dogs. They all kicked him around and
'Cause
made
he was
fun of him
nice.
because he was nice.
yeah.
I waited under
Hi.
the porch because I love you.
I waited. Oh,
God, don't make me cry. Right
some
now.
of those Doug lines just
They're really.
kill me.
I know because they're
Oh.
exactly what you imagine your dog is thinking.
I know, right?
Oh, my girls will look at me and like, you'll give me food because I love you.
With that
You know,
look.
like, oh,
I do not like the cone of shame.
that is the name of those now.
Yes.
Anytime
Bone of shame.
Nobody calls them
I-
e-collars
I-
anymore.
yeah, we have two Malamutes that live just up the street, and one of them got fixed last week and got loose, and so we have these two Malamutes running down our street, and one of them in the biggest cone of shame you've ever seen in your life. And so I went out to go stop them and help them get home. And he comes over with his cone of shame and just bumps right into my stomach and is like, I want to
like-
smell you,
he's
but
like
I can't.
Aw.
And so I reach down and let him smell my hand and give him lovies. And he's like, okay, you're cool. But I got to go. There's more to see. And just turns around and runs away from me. I'm like,
Don't rip a stitch.
that
like,
backfired.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons. The lamp's getting away.
Well, Dana, why don't you throw another one out?
All right. Well, since we've been talking about Disney this whole time, I'm going to throw a wrench in this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Don Bluth instead.
Ooh.
Don Bluth was the master of these dark
Yes, he
movies.
was.
From The Secret of Nim to
Oh.
An
I've
American
never seen it.
Tale to
Oh, I
All
saw
Dogs
that.
Go to Heaven.
Yes, yes.
A Land Before Time, the original one, before
Yeah.
they started singing.
Never saw it.
The
The
first
Land Before
one?
Time. Oh my
Oh
god.
man, I remember the Diana Ross
No,
intro.
no.
and-
What's gonna crack everybody up? There's a reason I've never seen Land Before Time, and it's literally that everybody has said that this is the saddest freaking movie ever, and
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
I don't think it's the saddest
I don't
movie
think
ever,
it's the
but it's
saddest
definitely
movie ever.
sad.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to die.
Well, and not only
Right.
that, but I mean, what happens in the actual movie? I mean,
Yeah.
the kid loses his mother in
Right.
the first 20
It's
minutes of the
basically
movie.
Bambi, but
with dinosaurs.
but with
then I've already
dinosaurs.
seen it. It's okay.
Yeah, but there's
There's-
a bigger friendship in
Well,
this one.
and what's interesting to me is that they
Bigger?
actually had
Yeah,
to.
like a bigger group of friendship.
Flower and Thumper are all I need. Thank you.
They actually had to tone the movie down when they were making it
Oh, I
because it was at first they had like all the the little kid actors, they were basically told to scream like they were being murdered because they were doing the scenes
Yeah.
where animating the scenes where the sharp tooth, the
Yeah.
Tyrannosaur or whatever he was. They were like running away from him and they were like screaming, like the kids were screaming bloody
Bloody
murder, and
murder,
then
yeah.
and the test audiences were way too traumatized by that, so they had to actually tone that movie down a lot when they released it.
That's interesting.
So which Don Bluth are you going with?
So I mean, I think in general,
in
Don
general.
Bluth, but I think the darkest one was probably The Secret of Nim, because it actually, I mean, there was actual blood in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
There was actual death in that movie. I mean, there was death in some of the other ones, but I mean, they were really graphic
I've
about
never
it.
seen
Jonathan's
it.
death hit me hard.
How old is that movie?
It came out when I was
Jonathan's death.
6.
Jonathan
Brisby.
Oh, yeah. Well, they
They don't show it,
They kind of show it,
but they talk about it.
but
a
yeah,
lot.
that they show
yeah.
the part where he saved the other mice from the
Yeah.
air ducts. That's also based on a book which
Yes.
was a lot darker.
Miss Brisby and the Rats of Nim.
Interestingly enough, Mrs. Frisbee
Frisbee.
in the book, Mrs.
Yeah.
Brisby in the movie. I don't know why they changed it. They did.
Probably 'cause the
Frisbee
Frisbee was-
might have sued them.
I don't. Maybe.
I mean,
I
just
don't know.
because you're not seeing it in writing, you're hearing
Yeah, I
it, so
guess.
that you're
You're
technically
just-
saying the name
Yeah.
Frisbee.
That's a good point. But yeah, that's probably the darkest movie.
That's
That
on
movie
Netflix.
came out
I
when
should
I
probably
was,
watch
like,
it.
It's amazing.
That came out in what, 81 or 82?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was 81 or yeah.
So it's got that older animation. That's how I love that animation. The way the
animation
style looks.
in
Yeah.
it
It's a
is
stunning movie.
spectacular.
It's a
Yeah.
stunning movie.
Nicodemus is still one of visually the most interesting characters I've ever seen in a movie. He's beautifully animated, and he feels wise from the second you see him, but he also feels scary.
Yeah.
He feels like a threat, but he also feels like he knows more than everybody else in the room. And that movie had such a huge impact on me when it came out, because I was 5 or 6 when it came out, and I saw it in the theater, and it was magical. I mean,
Yeah.
that movie was just perfectly done. Perfectly done.
I've been meaning to get on it, but I mean, there's a lot of
You
stuff
need
that I
to.
haven't seen.
Well-
It has a few gut punches in that movie.
Oh God. Well,
that
what I
are
love
just-
about it is that it basically you're looking at the entire world from the perspective of a tiny little mouse,
Mm-hmm.
and absolutely everything is goddamn terrifying when you're the
Yeah.
size of a mouse.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And it's just from beginning to end. You do, like you were talking about with Sleeping Beauty, with that creeping terror. This is like a full-on terror that you're feeling because you're feeling the way
because
she
it's not
feels.
creeping.
Yeah.
It's not
there
creeping. It's
constantly.
ever present.
Everywhere you
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
around, something is trying to eat you or kill you or blow you up or sink you in mud or blast you with
Sounds
magic.
like my daily life.
Yeah.
Well, that's what having kids is about.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. It truly is.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's why I'm not having none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's constantly waiting to come home to a crater.
Oh, dude.
Jesus.
Or
Yeah,
squirrels.
I don't need that extra added stress. No thanks.
Yes.
All right. Well, I've never seen The Last Unicorn either. I hear that one's
Oh,
pretty
that
dark
movie's
too.
so sad.
That movie is so good. I have the weirdest complaint about that movie, though.
Oh boy.
No. It's fairly minor. I
just
love
weird.
that movie. But is it Mia Farrow that's the voice of the unicorn?
Yes.
Her voice makes me want to punch my TV. I cannot stand her speaking voice.
But Mia Farrow is so fine.
It's so
I'm getting-
it's too prim and proper
Oh,
sounding.
okay. Yeah,
where,
but she's a unicorn.
I know, but it still has that tone where I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna go the Trevor route here, and I'm gonna say I hate Mia Farrow. I cannot stand her as an
Oh.
actress. Pound it.
She's so cute though.
She's cute, but
Cute,
I
but
never
terrible.
thought she was a good actress.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was easily the worst part of Rosemary's Baby, which
Yeah.
is really funny.
Yeah.
That movie was the supporting actors.
Like maybe she was okay in that, you know.
she wasn't good in that.
but
the
she's not a
supporting
good
actors
actress.
were great
Yeah.
in that.
Her
She's
neighbors were better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is that the supporting cast, the neighbors,
Yeah.
the boyfriend, all of them made that movie scary and good. She just played a victim really well.
Yeah.
But
But
like I said,
okay.
I love the Last Unicorn. I really do. The flaming bull is still visually one of the coolest things I've seen in an animated movie. Yeah. I need to come up with a movie, don't I?
The Flaming Bowl.
Is
I
that-
need one of those
I was gonna say
tonight.
that
It's
was
the
It's not a
Stat.
sexual position.
It's,
No.
no, that was me after I ate my
It's
Tracy
actually
Akers.
red. I think it should be Red Bull with Fireball.
There
we
you
go.
go. Yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't even sound.
I love
got-
that
That
I've got-
sounds
Hold on.
disgusting.
I've
but
got one
but-
that I think that Dana will really like. Any Don Hertzfeldt's cartoon.
Yes. I love all of his stuff.
Me too.
It is so.
Yes.
It's
That's-
depressing, but it's hilarious
Yeah,
at the
that's
same
really,
time.
That's
No
some
idea what
really
you're
dark.
talking about.
Don
So-
Hertzfeld.
So nihilistic.
Ooh.
Explain.
Rejected
think you would love
and
it.
Billy's Balloon, and It's Such a Beautiful Day. They're very simply drawn. They're drawn like almost like stick figures, and it's very simple. But the themes in them are just, I mean,
They're fucking.
It's Such a
horrible.
Beautiful Day is
It's
about a dude
hardcore.
Yeah,
that's like
they're horrific.
dying. I mean, it's just,
My anus is bleeding.
Yeah.
and my anus is bleeding.
There's a whole cartoon
Why
of
is
this
mine
little
just blue?
cute little.
It's hilarious.
It's this
that doesn't
cute.
sound funny.
Oh,
is.
It
it's
is, though.
It's literally 3 minutes of this thing, and its anus is just
Oh, I
shooting
have
blood.
seen that.
Yeah,
You probably have.
that's Don Hertzfeld.
Yeah, I didn't think it was funny.
Oh.
He also did, what was the name of the one that just came out a couple of years back that almost won the Oscar?
Oh,
The World of
yeah,
Tomorrow
the
or
world,
whatever it
Yeah,
was.
something about.
And it was, that one was
Tomorrow.
pretty depressing too, because it basically showed the future of humanity. Blah, blah.
Humanity.
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 And it's very, very depressing.
Yeah.
The way that he.
I actually turned that off because I was
It's-
like, I'm not watching this
It is.
anymore.
It's yeah. His stuff will pound you repeatedly with this nihilism.
One of my favorite.
I am a banana.
One of my favorite cartoons he does is the little baby. He's look, Poopy's taking her first steps, and then she just falls down the stairs forever.
I like Billy's Balloon.
Oh,
where he's
yeah.
just like sitting there, and then the balloon starts beating him up, and then it starts lifting him up in the air and dropping him. It's just.
Man, those
it
are
sounds
funny.
like it
Yeah,
shouldn't be
Rejected
funny,
is
but it
amazing.
is.
Balls.
But
Cartoons
Rejected
are great.
is great.
All right, who's got another one?
Oh gosh, I probably have so many in my head, but I don't want to.
Come on, somebody.
Well, I was actually just thinking about a movie that I just recently discovered because a friend of mine remembered it from her childhood. I'd never seen it. So I bought it for her on DVD. We watched it together, and I looked at her and went, holy cow, this is your Watership Down. Because Watership Down was the one that traumatized me. It's called Sarah and the Squirrel. And I think I talked about it before.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
It's done by Yoram Gross, who did all the Dot movies, Dot and the Kangaroo, Dot and the Whale, all those, and they're very cutesy little things. But this one was about World War II, and it's about this
Ooh.
Jewish family in Europe, and the Nazis come and take the family away, but the little girl is left in the forest,
Oh,
and
geez.
she has to fend for herself. And it's so depressing. And like there's all this like Vivaldi music playing, and I'm like, I'm surprised that Vivaldi doesn't like send people into, traumatized
right, by hearing it triggering
fetal curling, because it's like, oh my god, this movie. And like Yoram Gross is famous for all the backgrounds in his movies are live action, and then he just animates the characters over the live action.
Oh, that's cool.
So it looks cool, but the animation's kind of limited a little bit. But still, I mean, this kid is like, she's probably like 12, and she's trying to fend for herself in the forest while her family's at the concentration camp, and she's trying to survive in the woods alone and hiding from the Nazis. And then she gets this idea that she can stop the war if she can make the bridge collapse when the Nazis are going across it. So she's like trying to take the bricks out of the bridge with her bare hands.
Oh my god.
It's so it's so depressing. It's a really depressing movie. And I'd never heard of it either. But then when she started describing it, my friend described it to me, and I was like, I bet that's a Yoram Gross movie. She just like described it to me how it looked, and I was like, that sounds like Yoram Gross. And I looked it up, and it was. And I was like, I've never heard of this movie.
When did it come out?
I don't know. I'm not sure what year it was.
I'm going to guess early 80s?
It looks like a 70s or 80s film.
What about When the Wind Blows?
Oh God, that movie breaks me in half every time.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's so sad. Oh God.
It's basically about a couple living in English countryside with like impending nuclear war.
Oh shit.
And not only that, but they're these adorable little like grandparents. They're like cute little British grandparents, and they have this utmost faith that the government's going to come help them.
Aww.
And then they start dying from radiation poisoning.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's obvious that no one's coming for them, that there's nobody left, but they're just like, it's okay, we just have to follow the directions and the protect and survive, and we'll be okay.
Yeah. Have you seen this one?
So it's like Wallace and Gromit meets the nuclear holocaust?
No, because it's not funny at all. It's just...
It's sad.
It's so sad, the whole thing. And it's just like, you don't want them to die, but you know they're going to. And it's so sad.
Jeez.
Because you just fall in love with them. They're so cute.
See, this is probably why I don't watch much animation, because it's all fucked up.
Well, I think that, animation, sometimes it's easier to do this really like dark natured stuff because...
Oh, look at me. It looks pretty.
It looks pretty. They can be very artistic with it.
Yeah.
And they're not putting real human actors through all these stresses and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I imagine you can be super creative this way, like you're, artistic, as you were saying. Because you don't have to literally show someone dying in an animation. There's like many subtle levels of portraying what death looks like through colors and stylized lines and things like that.
Totally.
But in live action, it's pretty much one or two things, you know what I mean? So.
Yep. Do we got a couple more?
Fritz the Cat.
Yeah, I've never seen Fritz the Cat either.
Another Bakshi movie.
That's an older one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? 80s?
70s.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I saw a picture of Fritz the Cat, and I was like, I don't know what this is. So, what's Fritz the Cat?
Different.
It's different?
It's pretty different.
I don't even know how to describe. Why don't you describe it, Dana?
Well, its source material came from Robert Crumb. He hated the movie.
Okay.
But, yeah, if you're familiar with Crumb...
I am.
Because the movie kind of went much deeper than the source material.
Yeah, and he didn't like it. So, I mean, a lot of people who like Crumb don't kind of dismiss the movie, but it's one of Ralph Bakshi's best known movies. It was the first X-rated animated film in this country.
Do we see kitties banging in this one?
There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, Crumb,
but I mean, there's sex and drugs and
a lot of drugs.
There's all and it's all cats.
It's all cats.
Well, it's not all cats. There are other animals in it,
but
the lead character is a cat.
Yeah, Fritz is a cat. There's birds. There's.
So who is Fritz? Does he get out of the house
cat.
or something? Oh,
He's a
just
cool cat.
Yeah.
No, it's an anthropomorphic world.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of a Bugs Bunny type guy.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Maybe I will watch this.
It's very true to its time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a timeless movie.
Very exploitive.
And it's
You could say that about 90% of Ralph Bakshi's stuff.
Yeah.
It's not as it doesn't.
It's certainly outdated.
Well, no,
Not outdated, but it's
Fritz for me, like other Bakshi stuff, still holds up. The stories still hold up. The dialogue still holds up. It's still relevant.
Okay.
Where the type of characters and situations and dialogue and all of that is very 1972.
Got it.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was a part of our country or a part of the world that died about 4 years later.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it was very clear window at and contemporary for a 4 or 5 year period.
Sure.
And then after that,
Yeah.
it ceased to be relevant to younger people. But it's still an interesting, good movie.
I like movies like that, though. I think it's really nice to have. It's
Well, it's
almost
like a
like a
time
time
capsule.
capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
It
really
is.
neat. I love seeing older movies like that, and then being, or even like a lot of like, say, the X-Files. Like a lot of earlier episodes of the X-Files are super dated, and it's very clearly 1991. You know, and like so,
Yes.
it's just really neat to. It's well for me personally, it's easy to remember having. It triggers my memory because
Oh,
I've
yeah,
lost
for
most
sure.
of it. You know, so.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing that. So, like, I can imagine Fritz the cat for someone else. And, you know, like, maybe my mom or something, you know, growing up in the 70s like she did. And so...
No, she would have had to have been an adult in the early 70s for it to really trigger anything.
Oh, okay, I see.
Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
Well, no, 'cause she was
it's
born in-
heroin use, it's smoking pot, it's
Hookers.
orgies, hookers.
All right. I mean, my mom was an adult in the 80s.
I mean, watching an animated cat come down in a bathtub.
What?
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah.
I'm watching this.
The
I'm watching this.
The movie it's fucking warped,
Yeah.
but it's so good. It you can really see Crumb's influence.
I was going to say, it sounds
you can
like
really
it's crumb
see,
all over it.
You can really see Bakshi's influence.
Yeah.
Um,
What's another
can
movie
see-
that he's done?
who?
The director.
Bakshi?
Oh, we've
Yeah.
been talking about him all
We've been
night.
talking
Okay.
about him a
I don't
lot.
know. See, I don't know
Heavy
anybody's
metal.
name.
Heavy-
Okay.
heavy
Oh,
metal.
okay.
Wizards, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Heavy
Well, I've
Traffic.
never seen that. Never seen
American Pop.
American Pop.
Never seen that.
That was great.
That was
American
great.
Pop was brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I've only seen heavy metal out of all of those.
You need to see them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should see them all.
Well, let's have a-
American Pop you'll love.
Yeah.
The soundtrack for that movie.
And all of his movies are animated, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, he's
So
an
is
animator,
heavy
so I
heavy
hope so.
traffic like heavy metal? Is it?
No.
No,
Okay. Okay. So why is it called Heavy Traffic?
no, but I think you'll like it. Heavy Traffic's actually my favorite Bakshi movie. And it starts and ends in live action.
Isn't it
Ooh.
his
It's a-
favorite movie too?
Well, when we talked to him, he really likes Coonskin. That's the one he said he'd like to remake.
There's another one I don't know about.
But
Yeah, I
but
don't know
he's
about that
but
one
he but he did he has talked about the fact that Heavy Traffic's very autobiographical for him.
Yeah.
And that, you know, it was because the main character Michael is an artist like Bakshi, you know, living with his parents and
Oh, okay.
all this, you know, he's a young adult. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just there's a lot of metaphors, you know, there's like pinball metaphors.
I really wish somebody would
Okay.
give him a budget to do at least one more big one.
Yeah.
You know,
Bigger than the last one because he
What was the last movie that he made?
the last one he made was called Last Days of Coney Island,
Oh,
and
okay.
it ended up being it was supposed to be a full length feature, but it ended up being a 25-minute short.
Oh.
And
But it's beautiful.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
beautiful.
It really called back to his earlier stuff.
Oh,
and It was
okay.
wonderful, and I reviewed it when it came out.
But yeah, I mean, I would love to see what he would do. I'm gonna get slightly political just because it's Bakshi. What Bakshi would do in the Trump era.
Seriously,
The movie that he would make right now would be spectacular because he has that very counterculture 1970s feel. Even in the 80s, he still
Yeah.
had that vibe to everything he did, and him now could be such an amazing voice for the era.
He has this way of taking the zeitgeist and kicking the shit out of it, basically.
Yeah, but he'd really destroy both sides.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how everybody feels right now. Both sides are just
I
garbage.
don't feel like that.
Oh, I do. I'm a little fed up with everything right now. I just don't care.
All I know is one side's not tear gassing babies.
Yes.
But that's not the point.
I will agree with you on that.
All right, we need another one.
At least one more.
Yeah, we got one more.
A good one. Come on, Dana.
A good one.
Go into the vault.
Gosh,
Go deep.
so many of my favorite ones. I'm trying to think what some of my other favorite ones have been over time. Because most of the ones that I would come up with, probably nobody's heard of. Oh, The Point.
Yeah.
The Point.
What's
God,
The Point?
I haven't seen The Point in years.
How do you describe The Point? It was a passion project, animation, mid-70s. It was actually...
I've got it on DVD somewhere.
It is so good.
It really is good.
It's about being an outcast. Is the whole movie where very conformist society, and everybody, the way they illustrate is everybody looks the same. Everybody has the same shape head, same shape body, and this one person has a different head and different shaped body and different personality, and is ostracized and kicked out and left to wander the world by himself until he figures out who he is, and then he comes back and convinces everybody else that being a conformist sucks. And the music is by Harry Nilsson, and spectacular. Harry Nilsson, really was a huge part of the storytelling, was a huge part of the whole thing, and it was really from his music that a lot of the inspiration came. And I don't know if any of you know who Harry Nilsson is. There's a documentary you have to see called "Who the Fuck's Harry Nilsson and Why is everybody talking about him?"
Okay.
And it's all about his career. He's literally one of the best songwriters you've never heard of.
Okay.
One is The Loneliest Number is him.
Oh.
You know the Coconut song?
Of course.
With the lime in the
Yeah.
coke? That's him singing. That's his song. Have you seen Midnight Cowboy?
No. Yes. Yes, I have.
Everybody's talking at me.
All right.
That's Harry.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the dude was friends with the Beatles. John and George and Ringo called him the fifth Beatle.
Oh, okay. I think I do know who this guy is.
But yeah, it's his music
Okay.
through the whole thing, and it is...
It's called The Point.
The Point.
Okay.
I've got it on DVD.
Okay.
It's very 70s, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Like the art style.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait.
It's funny for me that the 70s had three different art styles. It had the Bakshi art style, where it was hyper detailed, really well done, beautiful. It had the Hanna-Barbera Disney thing.
One of my faves.
The cartoony. And then it had the Point style.
Okay.
And the Point style wasn't limited to just the Point. It was a lot of watercolors and softness and abstracts.
Okay.
And
The Phantom Toll Booth is kind of like that.
Phantom Toll Booth, yeah. Phantom Toll Booth falls in that category.
I like the Chuck Jones stuff.
And yeah, Chuck Jones went there in the 70s. But it's this very hippie, like post-hippie, beautiful style.
Yeah. I'm in it. I can dig it.
Yeah,
you will dig it.
You will dig it a lot. It's really good, and it never gets talked about anymore. It's
I've never heard of it.
One of those forgotten movies.
I've forgotten all about it till you said it. The Point. I haven't seen it in so long. I got to dig it out and watch it again.
All right, then. We have a good one to end with, then.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's great. Thank
It's
you.
a suggested viewing.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is.
Yay.
Full circle.
There we go. Yeah.
There
There's
go.
my suggested viewing because I know none of you have seen it.
Except
None
me.
of
I
you.
have not
Dana,
either.
Dana and I are the only two people in Michigan that have probably remember
There
seeing
might be
it.
a third. There might be.
Maybe somewhere out there.
Andrew might have seen it.
Yeah.
I would guess Andrew, yeah.
I'd say probably.
But the theme song, Me and My Arrow, is amazing. Just
Of
so
the
you know.
I'm gonna have to try and find this
Okay,
one.
yeah, I'll see if I can get Jesse to find it and
Yeah.
download it or something.
Sweet.
I
So,
mean, we don't do that around here.
what's that?
Pirate movies.
Oh, never.
I can honestly say I've never pirated a movie.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Liar.
You said, look at that. He was like, me neither.
All right, folks. This was episode 102 of
102.
Real Crime. We'll be back next week, and I'm hoping that next week we can cover Rocky.
I
That's
might not
great.
be able to be here next week, but we'll see.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then we will figure that out, and we'll let
We
you know
will.
what we're doing.
Yes,
so
we will.
Cool.
that was in the process before life took a left turn, and
But
shit
Rocky,
happened.
Rocky coming soon.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for
Night.
watching. Thanks for listening.
Toodaloo.
Later.
Bye.
Me and my arrow.
Visit us at www.themoviesleuth.com and find The Movie Sleuth on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes.